I've ordered, betrothed to you. The drunk man on the other end of the phone stumbles when he speaks. What to order? Gu Wei rubbed his eyes, endured his drowsiness, and turned on the screen of his phone. The time was 4:30 in the morning. Blessed to come. Gu Wei opened the curtains and looked at the pitch-black night sky outside, feeling that he must have done a lot of bad things in his 8 lifetimes. Small to steal chickens and dogs, too big to murder and set fire. In the middle of the night, did you book a ghost for him? Dad, tell me the truth, how much did you drink? At 4:30 in the morning, the chicken is still dreaming. Gu Wei doesn't want to discuss this out-of-nothing engagement with the drunk. His father, Gu Cai, was a screenwriter. When he wrote the script, he was a mad critic. Son. Not much, not much. Gu Cai said with a big tongue, just 2 bottles of white, mixed with some beer, smash. Dad is happy, I finally found someone to take care of you, my colleague, you know, her son, like you, doesn't like little girls either. Dad, stay awake. Gu Xiao balled the flowers in the vase by the bedside. Your son, I'm a traffic star, do you understand traffic? I'll be confused when it comes to love. He is the main dancer of the popular top men's group T.ATW, the third-tier traffic star. The traffic is not bad, the black fans will catch a bunch of them. He just relied on that little traffic to make him fall in love, that is cut off people's wealth and kill their parents. What's the difference between his father's engagement and suicide? You are all black powder, it's already a paste. His dad doesn't eat this. Black fans are also fans, who makes me unlikable. As a third-tier traffic star, Gu Wei has a clear understanding of himself. Tell me the truth, who are you engaged to? Gu does not have sufficient evidence to suspect that this engagement partner does not exist. It seems, what's it called soon? Gu Cai was drunk and couldn't remember. It seems like a child who doesn't do a good job. His mother said that he doesn't make much progress by playing games every day, but he is a good person. He smokes and drinks and burns his head, but he's not a bad boy. The logic of the drunk is touching. Hurry up, give me back. Gu Wei ruthlessly refused, our traffic has no love. Gu Wei hung up the phone. At 4:40, this beautiful love that fell from the sky made him completely unable to sleep. It was nearly 5 o'clock, Gu Wei opened WeChat, found their group's WeChat group, and sent a few good morning greetings. Please give me money if you love me, early. Please give me money if you love me, be full of energy today. Before 5 o'clock, naturally no one in the group paid any attention. Gu Wei poured a glass of water, and felt more and more that he couldn't get up so early in vain, so he opened his moments, edited a good morning, and brought a common emoji for chatting in the group, cheers.jpg. People emojis, Gu Wei followed a lot of emojis. I have been single for a long time, and I feel pretty when I look at the emoji. Gu Wei doesn't watch much of the game. He has been there a few times with the brothers in the group. It is also often used when chatting with hair circles. The early bugs are eaten by the birds, hum. With the picture, Zhangxun is angry.jpg. Brother. Someone privately chatted with him, wake up so early. This is Qi Yongkai, who is also a fringe member of the group. Please pay me if you love me, my dad committed suicide to send his marriage, and I can't sleep. Shout a Yunkai sees moon cakes, then don't sleep, my brother will show you something exciting. Love me, please give me money, what exciting. Qi Yongkai threw a screenshot of Weibo hot search over there. Gu Wei quit WeChat, opened Weibo, and sure enough, he and Qi Yongkai hung side by side on the hot search. Number Gu Wei's sense of variety. Number Qi Yongkai grabs the C position. Number that's a thrill. Gu Wei has also been scolded for grabbing the C position. He is not curious about this, so he opened his own hot search, and the top one is a video, which has just been broadcast. A fragment of the variety show Wandering Together. That is a variety show that Gu Wei has been recording recently. In the video, 7 guests of the wandering group came to the streets of the ancient town of Jiangnan. One of the old grandmothers learns to embroider. In this clip, he buckled the embroidery on the table with his backhand, and ran out of the studio under the surprised eyes of the old man. Later version, it's too difficult, cry.jpg. After the latest episode of the variety show was broadcast, this episode was immediately caught by Gu Wei's black fans. The whole network criticized him for his low quality and disrespect for the elderly. The hard-working netizens forgot the hardships of 996 and worked overtime all night. Plus points put Gu Wei on the hot search. Netizen 1, you look at him like that. When I was a child, I was afraid that I didn't do any work, and I didn't endure hardship. Is embroidery so difficult? And NBSP, Netizen 3, when will T.ATW be disbanded? Our Captain Fuji, let's go solo. I don't want to see Gu Wei's unsatisfactory drag on my brother. In the group of scolding, there were also several small fans of Gu Weijia. Netizen 4, there may be some special reasons for filming. He is usually a very polite person, so editing can easily lead to misunderstandings. My brother is very warm, please don't misunderstand him. Netizen 5, Xiao Kawai just turned 18 years old. He still doesn't understand many things, we apologize, please be tolerant to Weiwei. But a small number of fans who helped Gu Wei speak were immediately scolded by angry netizens to the point of losing themselves. Netizen 7, passers-by, but Gu Wei's approach is really unpleasant, fans are scolded obediently, don't wash the floor there, it's very popular. Netizen 8, that's right, I didn't say. What did the show crew of Wandering think at the beginning? Did they like Gu Wei's traffic? Gu Wei really doesn't have a sense of variety show. This clip posted by a Big V has been forwarded and commented on tens of thousands of times, and the fact that Gu Wei has no sense of variety has become a hot search. Gu Wei closed the Weibo interface and was completely awake. He got up to wash up. The eyes of the person in the mirror were red, obviously due to lack of sleep. After he washed and dressed, he just received a call from his manager, Sister Zhao, when he returned to the bed. Wake up! Sister Zhao said briefly, have you seen the hot search? Wake up, Sister Zhao is early. Gu Wei's voice was slightly nasal, I'm sorry. The child's voice is soft and has no temper, Zhao Ye's stomach full of fire can't come out in an instant, the car is downstairs in the dormitory, you hurry up. The magazine cover is shot over there, the time is an hour earlier, and Mu Yu is waiting for you in the car. Well, I see, thank you Sister Zhao. Gu Wei looked at the mirror, simply scratched his hair, put on a coat, and rushed downstairs. The studio shot by the magazine was by the river, a nanny car parked by the building, 2 people with sunglasses came down, and a group of bodyguards followed behind them. Brother, don't you have to train today? Zhang Ying took off her sunglasses. Zhang Sun shook his head, no, I just finished the game last week. Tomorrow the team will go to Europe for vacation. Today there is an exclusive interview with a professional player. Zhang Sun, the captain of TMW, the star team of the FPS Game Code professional competition, led the team to achieve a number of honors in the professional league. Zhang Sun's interview location was to pass by the magazine's studio. Filming was taking place in the studio. Zhang Sun planned to go around intently, but he heard his younger brother Zhang Ying tut strangely. Zhang Sun. 3 o'clock. Zhang Ying pointed to the front, see, that is my opposite home, and there are more black materials than me. Zhang Ying has a partner, Zhang Sun knows it, but he is busy with the team and the entertainment industry is so dark that it has little to do with him. Since they bumped into them today, Zhang Sun followed the direction Zhang Ying pointed. Seeing this, Zhang Sun stopped. The opposite home that my younger brother called, was filming the cover of an esports magazine. The little star was wearing a camouflage uniform, with 2 lines of oil on his face, leaning on an armored vehicle, with his shoulders on his back. Carrying a sniper rifle prop, all kinds of cameras around him kept flashing at him. Jong Sun's first impression was that this little star's eyelashes are quite long, which complements the original peach blossom eyes a little more charming, good-looking but not tacky, with delicate lips and slightly raised corners of the mouth. It looks good. The little star looked at the camera and carried the heavy-looking prop gun on her back, trying her best to create a sharp momentum as required by the photographer. In Jong Sun's opinion, little stars are not only not fierce, but also fierce. You're promising. Jong Sun raised the corners of his lips. Are underage children your right home? Is it 18 years and 1 month old? Zhang Ying, the irritable brother, was not convinced. It's all post00s, he just looks small, so he usually looks good, black material. More than me. Jong Sun was non-committal. What's his name? Jong Sun asked casually. Gu Wei, Gu in retrospect, Wei in the future. Zhang Ying said, I went to take pictures, and I was actually ranked behind my opponent. Gu Wei's eyes are too familiar, making Jong Sun think of a game from a long time ago. At that time, their team had just won 7 consecutive victories, and the teammate pointed to a person in the audience to show him that kid has been here a few times, staring at you all the time. He's your fan. The child wore a hat and mask, and wrapped himself tightly, but the eyes that were exposed were so beautiful. Jong Sun stared at the audience for a long time. Those eyes, Jong Sun has never forgotten. Seeing that his brother didn't move for a long time, Zhang Ying retreated, pointed at Gu Wei, and made a conclusion. So, brother, remember this face, this is your brother and me, Zhang Ying's opponent. What is his opponent? After that, in the entertainment industry, either he died or I died. Zhang Sunruo nodded, you die. Zhang Ying was stunned, and pointed to himself with horror, am I dead? Who is your brother? Unfortunately, I have to wrong you. Zhang Sun raised his chin in the direction of Gu Wei, that kid seems to be my fan, I protect the fan. Zhang Sun's interview here is mainly about the World Championship that their team just won. In the past World Championship, their team has overcome all obstacles, won glory for the country, and won the championship. After returning to China, the interviews about the team have never stopped. This magazine has always wanted to do an exclusive interview with Zhang Sun. What are your plans for Sun Shen next? Asked the person in charge of the interview at the magazine. Our team has a week's vacation. We went to a small town in Northern Europe to relax temporarily. After returning to China, we will continue to train. Zhang Sun looked at his watch without a trace, and the interview time almost there. Would you like to take some time off? No. Zhang Sun said with a smile, esports, the superficial brilliance is temporary, the audience may only see the brilliant skills and playing styles in a game, but not the sweat behind esports. The interview has come to an end. Can I ask you a more personal question? The magazine reporter who interviewed Zhang Sun nervously glanced at the interview task the editor-in-chief had just sent him, and asked uncertainly. You said. Zhang Sun motioned for her to ask. We heard a rumor that your family. The reporter asked. It's true. Zhang Sun said generously, it's not a secret, the one outside, the traffic star who is about to shoot the cover, I mean the one with a bad temper, is my brother Zhang Ying. I said so, you should already understand. He was very comfortable, but the reporter was a little excited, then I put these in the interview eggs. Okay, feel free. Zhang Sun pulled the corner of his lips, and the reporter girl across from him blushed. As an esports player, Zhang Sun's appearance can be said to be impeccable. He is 1.87 meters tall, with perfect body proportions and handsome facial features. After all, the genes in the family are there, no matter how they grow will be bad. The reporter of the magazine looked a little excited at the information at hand. Zhang Sun is a legend, which is not only limited to his position in the esports industry, but also reflected in his family background. His father is the actor Zhang Zheng, and his mother is the famous screenwriter Song Jingzi. Thank you for participating in our interview. The little reporter thanked him with a blushing face. You're welcome. Jang Soon asked, why are there two people shooting the cover this time? Are you planning to cover it for both? No. The supervisor heard his question and explained, Zhang Ying is your issue, Gu Wei is the next issue. When Zhang Soon went out, Gu Wei seemed to have left. Only Zhang Ying was shooting in the studio. Zhang Soon waved at Zhang Ying and left first. Gu Wei returned to the dormitory and just received a call from the manager. Sister Zhao, what's wrong? Gu Wei opened the call. The hot search company paid you to withdraw it, let me tell you. Sister Zhao has a business attitude, remember to go to the airport tomorrow, the recording of the 5th issue of Wandering Together will be it started, and the location was temporarily changed to a small town in Northern Europe. You performed better, it doesn't matter if you don't have a sense of variety show, but you can't have a second time for recruiting hackers like the last time. Okay, not anymore. Sister Zhao spoke quickly, well, you pay more attention recently, don't go on the hot search again, the company will not help you to withdraw from the hot search this month, and you will solve the problem yourself. I got to know Sister Zhao. Gu Weiman agreed, I promise not to cause trouble, this issue will not happen again. The manager hung up the phone, and a busy tone came from the receiver. Gu Wei was still a little worried, so he opened Weibo. Sure enough, the hot search in the morning has been withdrawn, and the scolding has gradually subsided. He carefully opened Zhang Ying's Weibo account. Since the company gave him an endorsement that Zhang Ying liked last year, Zhang Ying has been taking him seriously. Every time the two are in the same frame, fans must fight, and this time, the magazine ranked his shooting in front of Zhang Ying, making Zhang Ying wait for a while longer. Gu Wei I want to see if Zhang Ying has ridiculed about this. However, no. In this irascible old man's Weibo, the latest one is a selfie posted by Zhang Ying 3 days ago. It was calm and nothing happened. Zhang Ying, who has always had a bad temper, actually gave this loss to a mouthful. In the Zhang family's small villa in H City, Zhang Ying is complaining to his mother. Mom, do you know what the right family is? Zhang Ying's eyebrows danced, the so-called right family, if there is me without him, if there is him without me, the fan position must be torn apart, the endorsement must be torn apart, and the resources are also if you want to tear it, in terms of details, you can't lose at all. It's not that I'm stingy, and it's not that I'm afraid of being popular. Weibo. It's all caused by your violent temper. Zhang Sun said, don't say you are the son of actor Zhang Zheng when you go out. Song Jingzi had a headache when she was yelled at, Aunt Zhang made butter crab, just eat it on the table. Zhang Ying ran away, and the living room was finally quiet, leaving only Zhang Sun and his mother Song Jingzi. How's it going? Song Jingzi began to ask about Zhang Sun's current situation. Very good. Zhang Sun heard too much about this question, and answered it smoothly, the team is on the rise and just won a world championship. Who asked you about the game? Song Jingzi had a headache, what about feelings? Is there something you like? No. Zhang Sun spread his hands, I stare at the few people in the team all day long, and I can't see what flowers are coming, and where is the time to look at the right ones. I knew what you were going to say. Song Jingzi blamed, I'll find it for you, find a good child who can live a good life. Don't. Zhang Sun quickly refused, it's not like you don't know I don't. I don't like girls, it's a big deal. Song Jingzi has been in the entertainment industry for a long time, and she has seen a lot of wind and waves, Mom knows, what's the matter? I heard them say, if you have a small sexual orientation like you should make plans earlier. I know a screenwriter's child who is very good. I have seen it once, and he looks good. I heard his father say, what about sexual orientation, and you same? Zhang Sun wanted to say that if he likes the same sex, it's not just a random one. Song Jingzi snatched his words again, don't refute first, I will give you this child's WeChat, you add it first, let's chat, if it is suitable, mom will order one for you first. Marriage, there is no rush to get married, let's make a decision first. Zhang Ying hasn't finished eating a crab yet, and Zhang Sun has already started to miss him. Zhang Sun refused, but got the WeChat business card of good boy from his mother. Love me, please call me, the name seems quite special. Remember to add it. Song Jingzi urged, his dad greeted him, he knows you will add him, you two talk first. I see. Zhang Sun had a headache. Ah, that's right. Song Jingzi remembered something, and said mysteriously, come on, let me give you a photo so you can have a good eye first. Zhang Sun was speechless, I'm so thirsty that I want to face a photo. His words stopped abruptly because he clicked on the photo sent by Song Jingzi. It was the little friend he had seen during the day, and he seemed to be the Gu Wei of his fans. What a coincidence! Gu Wei in the photo is wearing a home white shirt without makeup, looking clean and fresh in the sun. This photo seems to have been taken. The people in the photo have a kind of laziness that has not yet been hidden in their gestures, and there is a slight surprise in Gu Wei's eyes. Zhang Sun was silent. Song Jingzi is right, this kind of Gu Wei is indeed very addictive. Gu Wei, the main dancer of the group, was pulled by rapper Chi Yongkai to the toilet of the dormitory to whisper. What's the matter? Gu Wei asked, so mysterious. I feel like we're going to get together sooner or later. Gu Wei. How do you speak? It's just the last hot search, I'm used to being scolded, don't take it too seriously. Gu Wei tried to persuade his teammates. Don't worry. Chi Yongkai lowered his voice, it's not the issue of hot searches, it's me who developed new money-making skills. Did your sponsor not give you money recently? Gu Wei lowered his voice. Don't mention the sponsor. Chi Yongkai said, I'm self-reliant, I set up an online store. Gu Wei, what to sell? Selling services, boosting games, and doing daily tasks. A classmate of mine has set up a booster group and asked me to help attract customers. Chi Yongkai said, come on, brother is here to tell you the details. The details have not been revealed yet, and a call from the broker called Chi Yongkai away. Before leaving, Chi Yongkai left Gu Wei a great and arduous task. Chi Yongkai, I'm going to make an announcement now. When a big customer is coming, I'll ask him to add you directly, and you can help me introduce the business to him. Gu Wei, big customer. Chi Yongkai, yes, elementary school students, people are stupid and rich. The avatar and WeChat name are relatively naive, you can tell it is him at a glance. Chi Yongkai, speak politely to major customers and have a better attitude. Chi Yongkai, if he doesn't understand anything about our package, please explain it to him. The content is all on the notebook. Be sure to help me take the first order from the studio. It's up to you whether it's a good start or not. Gu Wei, okay, okay. They are all members of the same group. Although I don't know why the rapper in my group wants to take over the sideline for power leveling, this busy Gu Wei will still help. Chi Yun opened for business, Gu Wei opened a choreography video, and did not wait for the news of the big client until the video was finished. After washing, he took a glass of water for himself, took medicine, and was drowsy when the screen of his mobile phone suddenly lit up. 100,000 volts apply to add you as a friend. The avatar is a Pikachu, there is no verification message. Gu Wei's eyes lit up and he lifted his spirits. Here we come, and at first glance we know that he is a major client of Chi Yongkai's primary school students. People are stupid and have many ways to go wild. To treat customers, be patient and indulgent. Gu Wei adjusted his tone and greeted the big client first in a way he thought was extremely cordial. If you love me, please give me money, little baby, is that you? Love me, please give me money, cute.jpg. 100,000 volts? Gu Wei, the big customer responded with 3 question marks in seconds. As expected of a primary school student of a major client, it is so cold that I can't even accept a warm greeting. 100,000 volts, do you know who I am? If you love me, please give me money. I know, didn't you agree to add me? I waited for a long time, they didn't tell you? 100,000 volts, said. On the sofa, Jongsun's hand holding the phone trembled slightly. I'm not mistaken, what's wrong with Gu Wei's style of painting? On the other hand, Gu Wei decided to be straightforward and cut straight to the point. Please pay me if you love me, let's be honest, how much do you plan to give, boss? 100,000 volts, what do you mean? Love me, please give me money, you know what I do, and it's not the first time you've looked for it. Please call me money, you should know the basics, so I won't go into details. How long are you planning to pack? Come to experience for a week first, or direct monthly or annual subscription. What does 100,000 volts pack? Please give me money if you love me, I am. 100,000 volts, will you? Please give me money if you love me, yes. Otherwise, do you have another home? Want to find another power leveler? Don't even think about it. Gu Wei stared at the screen and smiled confidently. He is very good at chatting, and he will definitely help the small online store opened by Chi Yun to get a good start. In the Zhang family villa, Jongsun was stunned when he looked at the chat interface on his mobile phone. What does Gu Wei do? Gu Wei, the main dancer of the top men's group T.ATW, besides business, what is he doing? Call him baby, call him boss, and ask him how long it will take. Did Good Boy is here, looking for a sponsor? Jongsun is not a tactful person. 100,000 volts, do you take me as a gold master? Love me, please give me money, don't you? Students equals big client equals boss equals gold masters, so this person can also be said to be the gold master, there is no logical problem. In order to reward himself for his business spirit comparable to a ghost, Gu Wei allowed himself to drink an extra cup of milk tea tomorrow, just 1 cup without sugar. Jongsun followed the WeChat account, clicked into Gu Wei's moments, and saw Gu Wei's morning post, the early bugs are eaten by the birds, With the picture, Jongsun is angry.jpg. Jongsun saw his emoji. That's a picture of him being abusive when he was commanding at RU's World Invitational Tournament a while ago. Search. In addition, in Gu Wei's circle of friends, there are many photos taken when watching the game, and the few people next to him seem to be members of his group. Although the good boy is not good, it seems that he is really his own fan. A boy who seems to be very well behaved, he is looking for a gold owner. He seems quite skilled. Even his WeChat name is asking people to make money. It's wrong to find someone to take care of, the little fans lack education. Jongsun switched back to the chat interface. 100,000 volts, honestly, how long have you been doing this? Does the power leveling depend on qualifications? It is so difficult for elementary school students to say hello these days. You need qualifications, right? It takes experience, right? Love me, please give me money, it has been several years, you can rest assured that the business will not let you down. 100,000 volts, are you short of money? If you love me, please give me money, I'm missing, but I'm missing. If it wasn't for lack of money, who would do this and hurt my body? Who are you chatting with? Zhang Ying held a coconut and a straw, and saw Jongsun on the sofa in the living room. A bad boy who looks good but is actually not good, and I'll duck it. Jongsun's eyes did not leave the phone screen. If you don't sleep at night, who are you kidding? Zhang Ying was confused, turned her head and left. Go to bed earlier, brother, I'll see if you have to fly to Europe tomorrow. I go to bed, we'll be filming early tomorrow morning. Got it, rest early. Jongsun continued chatting, picking up the cup on the coffee table to drink water. 100,000 volts, you know it hurts your body. How many clients have you received? If you love me, please give me money, that's quite a lot, let alone 180. Love me please give me money, hardwork.jpg. 180, I can't see it. How old is Gu Wei this year? Gu Wei waited for a long time, the phone finally vibrated, and received a new WeChat message 100,000 volts, they are all beasts. Gu Wei stared at the phone in a daze, and chatted well, why did the elementary school students start scolding other customers? The way is really wild. Seeing that the backyard of Chi Yongkai's customer was about to catch fire, he decided to persuade him. Love me please give me money, don't say that, baby, you are essentially the same as them. 100,000 volts : 100,000 volts, is it me being abrupt, or you can see it more clearly? The sleeping pills played a role, Gu Wei's eyelids started to fight, but the business has not been negotiated yet. Please pay me if you love me, I'm going to bed, I'll tell you the specific package tomorrow, you should go to bed earlier too. 100,000 volts, If you love me, please spank me, you can't stay up late, you will be spanked by your father if you stay up late. Gu Wei couldn't keep his eyes open, the phone slipped from his hand, and before the lights could be turned off, he closed his eyes, so he didn't see it. The chat interface lasted for 10 minutes. Entering message. In the Zhang family's villa, Zhang Sun looked at the chat interface of the mobile phone and laughed angrily. God Dad, this is still playing, right? Good child, really not good at all, very social. Zhang Sun bowed his head, spent 10 minutes in the chat input box from the moral and health aspects, and explained to Gu Wei that it is wrong to find a gold owner, and expressed himself by the way the meaning of powder protection. But after thinking about it, Zhang Sun finally deleted this large piece of news. Whether it's good or bad, it's the life Gu Wei chose, although he regrets it, he won't interfere. After all, idols should stay away from fans' lives. Gu Wei was woken up by the alarm clock at 4 o'clock in the morning, rushed into the company's car, drove all the way to the airport, and got on the plane at 6 o'clock, and the plane flew to a small country in Europe, where he will participate in the recording of the 5th issue of the variety show Wandering Together. Gu Wei's sleep is not good, he wakes up at night, and is always sleepy during the day. He leaned on the seat back of the first-class cabin, took out his mobile phone in a daze, and saw that yesterday's big client didn't seem to wake up. The chat between the two still stayed on the sentence of being spanked by Dad, and the big client seemed to be scared away. Gu Wei lowered his head, lost a few words on the phone, and decided to coax the customer. Love me please give me money, smile.jpg. The boys group is top-notch. Although his main dancer and rapper Chi Yongkai are often hacked, after all, everyone has traffic, and there is heat. Gu Wei doesn't know why Chi Yongkai whimsical want to start a power leveling studio. The big customer hasn't picked up yet, so there will be no news for a while. Brother, what are you doing? Assistant Mu Yu asked, someone chatting with you so early? Gu Wei put the phone on his back and shook his head, nothing. The 5th episode of the variety show was recorded in a small town in northern Europe. The town is quiet and comfortable, and many people choose to come here for vacation. The director soon released the task, and the 7 guests were divided into groups and received the task. They searched for their own task NPC in the town and completed the task of punching in the scenic spot. The director confiscated the guest's mobile phone and wallet, and did not give a map of the town. Gu Wei had no sense of direction, so he wandered the streets of the town and followed him without saying a word. Photographed the surrounding scenery. Gu Wei. A voice came from behind him, it was Zhang Inayuan, a guest at the same time. Gu Wei turned his head and smiled at Zhang Inayuan. He really didn't have a sense of variety, and he didn't like talking to strangers, so he simply showed his truest side. Do you want me to come with you? Zhang Inayuan asked seemingly friendly, your English is not good, can you be alone? Gu Wei looked at the cameras around him, pursed his lips and said, no need, my English is okay. You don't need to think about it to know that when this variety show is broadcast, he will not only be black and unfit, but also be scolded for being stubborn because of his low education. Gu Wei's previous drop out of school will be brought up by several marketing accounts. I hope to give the show more popularity. Gu Wei ignored Zhang and Yuyuan and walked to the other end of the town with his follower. The scenery here was beautiful, and he didn't want to live up to the scenery in front of him for so little unpleasantness. Chang and Pai waved, held an umbrella for him, and found a place to hide from the rain together. The camera is still recording. Gu Wei is collecting an umbrella under the eaves of a house. I feel like I have to hide here for a while. Gu Wei said to himself, I'm sorry, my camera must be boring, let you accompany me to watch the rain under the eaves. Although he knew that when the show was broadcast, this part of him would not be left behind, Gu Wei still apologized very seriously. As he spoke, he closed his umbrella. On the internet, most people will have a magical operation. When they close the umbrella, they poke their own stomach, because poking other people's stomach will be beaten. Gu Wei was one of these people. He leaned against the door of the log cabin, took an umbrella absently, and poked the handle of the umbrella into his waist. Today's umbrella is extremely difficult to put away. Gu Wei didn't even think about it. He took the umbrella handle and wanted to poke at the wall behind him. Failed to collect the umbrella, he didn't poke the wall, but something softer than the wall. At the same time, he seemed to hear the creaking sound of the wooden door. Gu Wei. Then the question is, what exactly is he poking at? Standing on the spot with the big brother, but the expression looks a little weird, like the kind of wanting to laugh, but not afraid to laugh. Hey? What's wrong? Gu Wei turned back and froze in place. His traditional umbrella action, poked others. I don't know when, the door of the hut was opened from the inside, and someone came out from the inside, just standing behind Gu Wei's slightly open. Gu Wei panicked. He was not short himself, and the person who came was a little taller than him, which meant that the position he poked happened to be someone else's. It's someone's little half-life. Gu Wei lowered his head and looked at the folding umbrella in his hand. The umbrella was not put away, but the man, it should be sturdy. If it doesn't hurt, it must be fake. All men understand. I'm sorry, sorry. Gu Wei quickly apologized. I didn't know there was someone behind. When he looked up, he just saw the man's face and was stunned. Gu Wei, hey, you're not that. The emoji that he usually likes to send, the esports that the brothers in the group like very much, seems to be called Zhang Xuan. Zhang Xuan and the team members just won a world game, and just came to this small town in northern Europe for a vacation. A few people just put down their luggage in the hut. Zhang Xuan heard the team members say that someone was carrying it outside the door with the camera. Zhang Xuan originally planned to come out to see the situation, but as soon as he opened the door, he almost broke his dignity for the rest of his life. Fortunately, he responded in time and avoided a little later. Zhang Xuan caught a glimpse of the bodyguards and follow-ups around him, as well as the station logo on the camera, and immediately understood that this was recording a program. The little star who got into trouble had a soft voice and sounded sincerity. Zhang Xuan was not too angry at all, so he planned to give up. But at this moment, he saw the face of the little star. It's Gu Wei. That bad boy who asked him on WeChat last night whether he was monthly or yearly. The little fan who often sends his emoji in the circle of friends. The evidence that the bad boy forced him to go to last night is still in his phone. The ideological education essay that stayed up all night and finished writing and didn't send it out was still reciting in Zhang Xuan's heart. Since it happened to happen today, Zhang Xuan doesn't plan to stay away from fans' lives. You can't educate the little fans, it's okay to be scared. Do you know where I went wrong? Zhang Xuan asked with interest. Hey! Gu Wei didn't expect him to ask such a question. Thinking of the stupid thing he did just now, his face flushed suddenly. I apologize. Why is the expression pack so fierce? You can't just apologize. Zhang Xuan said deliberately, you have to know where you went wrong. Jiang Xuan saw the crimson on Gu Wei's face and felt more and more interesting. This kid, last night he was still saying that his experience is not a problem, why is he still blushing now? I'm sorry. Gu Wei thought about it, it was indeed his fault, and sincerely apologized, I hurt you, sorry. It hurts a lot. Jiang Xuan said, little boy, what are you going to do? Gu Wei blushed, how about I take you? Gu Wei wanted to say that he should stop recording the show first, and take this emoji to the hospital to have a look. Before he finished speaking, the other party bowed his head slightly, put his hand on the wall, blocked him against the wall, and opened his mouth in his ear, or give me a blow. You. Gu Wei was caught off guard by such a sentence, so frightened that the whole person was incoherent. Why are emojis acting like hooligans? It was still raining outside. Gu turned his head and ran away, forgetting that he was recording a show, and even forgot to hold his umbrella. A stunned Jiang Xuan came to him. Emoji? A hooligan? What does it mean? Didn't you ask him to call him dad generously when we were chatting yesterday? Then the question is, who is the hooligan first? There is no answer to this question at this time, but 3 days later, as soon as the trailer for the 5th issue of Wandering Together was broadcast, the two were immediately sent to the hot search. Gu Wei was very uneasy, he just assured his manager not long ago that this time the variety show will never be on the hot search again. It took less than a week for him to say this, and he was sent up again. He thought that the dialogue between himself and Jiang Xuan, the program team would cut it when editing, but he didn't expect that not only did he not cut a frame in the later stage, but also put him in the trailer. The program group prioritized the popularity of the program, and this preview obviously attracted the attention of countless people. He in the trailer was blocked by Jiang Xuan to the corner. Jiang Xuan lowered his head and asked something in his ear. When he raised his head, his face blushed and he threw a expression, "You're a hooligan." He ran away. Now everyone on Weibo knows that Gu Wei made a fool of himself while recording a variety show, and was bullied by passers-by who met in the town. He was scolded not long ago. The attention of the netizens who eat melons has not dissipated, and the hot search points are all kinds of comments. Everything is netizen 1, is Gu Wei a hot search for the whole year? There is no end to it. He will be listed on the hot search every 3 or 5 years. Since the hot search of choreography plagiarism last year, I like him or not. Stand up. This is Gu Wei's black. Netizen 2, my brother is so cute, he is so handsome and lustful when he dances, and he looks really cute on weekdays. Is the part of my brother closing the umbrella trying to kill me? Ha 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 ha, lit a candle for the passers-by behind and apologized to him for our brother. This is Gu Wei's support team. Netizen 3, this little star is so good looking, I'm chasing this variety show for this face. Ha 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 ha, that part of closing the umbrella made me laugh to death. I knew at a glance that this show had no script, and the little stars were stunned. Netizen 3, damn it, isn't this passerby really arranged by the show team? It's so handsome, are passers-by so handsome these days? This is the melon eater who occasionally clicks into the hot search. In these discussions, there are also many voices unrelated to this variety show. Netizen 4, you are all blind, is this Nima a passerby? This is Jiang Xuan, Xuan God. The God-level player of the FPS game Code, the captain of the team TMW Miracle Creator. The hot search in the first 2 days was still TMW's 7-game winning streak, TMW World Champion. You all forgot your goldfish brains? Netizen 5, yes, this is Jiang Xuan. Their team has been vacationing in that town these days, and they just won the World Championship. This wave is Jiang Xuan's esports fans, and soon turned this topic to esports, and was unique among the crowd of netizens. Look for great command and brutality at the World Invitational. And, among the above people, there is also a big V with millions of fans. The avatar of Da V is a king crab with claws and claws. The comment of the crab boss was praised by netizens all the way in the comments of the Wandering Together program preview. Zhongying Connie, hey? Isn't that my brother? Zhongying's comment was followed by 20,000 likes, and the subcomments were all copied and pasted by netizens. Netizen A at Connie, your brother and your partner have been on the hot search together. Doghead. Netizen B at Connie, your brother and your partner have been on the hot search together. Doghead. Netizen C at Connie, keep the formation, your brother and your partner are on the hot search together. Doghead. Zhongsun was sitting in the team's training room with headphones on, his fingers tapped the keyboard quickly, the game character on the computer screen crossed a bunker, the gunshot sounded, hitting the enemy. Zhongsun took off his earphones, and the words victory appeared on the screen. The training time was over, he picked up the phone that was put aside, the breathing light on it had been blinking for a while. Zhongying sent a message. Claw Crab, video 100,000 volts, what is this? Big Claw Crab, don't read Weibo first, I'll wash your brain first. 100,000 volts? Zhongsun clicked on the video sent by Zhongying. In the video is T.ATW when they first debuted, this is their performance at a party, and the video specially uses a red bullet screen. A front high energy is marked. Then the camera turned to Gu Wei. At that time, Gu Wei was even more youthful than now. Gu Wei was a little nervous when he sang, and the first sentence he opened was out of tune. Zhongsun, pft. What is Zhongying doing? Send him the video of the car rollover of the opposite home. Zhongsun noticed that Gu Wei made a small movement after realizing that he was out of tune. Gu Wei covered his mouth subconsciously, and his beautiful eyes glanced left and right at the surrounding cameras and the audience, only to be a little confused. I was so embarrassed that I got into the dance moves, and I looked very well behaved and cute. It really doesn't look like it can receive 180 customers. But that was what Gu Wei said. Zhongsun had to believe it. Why did Zhongying send himself a video of his opponent's car rollover? Zhongsun exited the WeChat chat interface, clicked on Weibo, and saw the variety show preview on the hot search. Zhongsun and his teammates quarreled with each other during the game. It was just a whim that day, and he wanted to bully this daring kid on WeChat, without considering Gu Wei's ability to bear it. In the video, Gu Wei bowed his head and apologized while peeking at him, as if he was delighted to see an idol. It's just that he seemed to be careless and scared Gu Wei away. There was a lot of discussion about Zhongsun's identity in the hot search. These Zhongsun didn't care, he ignored these and clicked into the Weibo of a small fan of Gu Wei. At GW Brother Save My Dog's Life, our idol is super cute, he has always worked hard, he is very good, please don't be embarrassed, and pay more attention to Gu Wei's works. This Weibo has a short video, which is a direct shot of Gu Wei. In this video, Gu Wei wears heavy makeup and has glitter on his eyes, which complements the pair of the sultry peach blossom eyes look better. The choreography is difficult, but Gu Wei is completely able to control it. For family reasons, although Zhongsun jumped out of the entertainment industry, he is no stranger to things in the industry. He can see what kind of person is popular. Gu Wei's bones are good, and his height is suitable for dancing. He does not paddle or deliberately, and his talent and hard work can be seen in his body movements and dance steps. I have to say, Gu Wei and Gu Wei in daily life are like two people when dancing. The stage makes him forget himself. Gu Wei on the stage is indeed, as his fans say, lovely. In the music that exploded the stage, Gu Wei lifted the corner of his shirt, the earrings flashed under the spotlight, he raised the corner of his mouth under the stage, and gave a wink to the audience in the front row. The audience screamed. This is different from the Gu Wei that Zhongsun saw in the Nordic town that day. Gu Wei on the stage was too dazzling. The state of being indulged in it was actually the same as Zhongsun. The state of the keyboard is exactly the same when tapping the keyboard rapidly on the field. Zhongsun somehow found some resonance in Gu Wei's direct shot. I will not comment on singing for now, but Gu Wei is indeed the main dancer of the top men's group T.ATW. Zhongsun's phone vibrated again, and the irritable brother Zhongying began to be restless again. Big Claw Crab, Brother, have you read it yet? 100,000 volts, Big Claw Crab, very good, talk about your feelings. 100,000 volts, appreciate and be in awe. Big Claw Crab? I appreciate it because Gu Wei is too dazzling when dancing. The awe is purely because of the 180 people, Gu Wei said. Zhang Ying was called by the director to film. Zhang Sun took the phone and continued to scroll down. This time, he found a lot of discordant comments. Gu Wei was sitting on the sofa in the dormitory, doing hot searches with the brothers in the group. The T.ATW men's team has a total of 5 members, and 4 of them are Zhang Sun's diehard fans. During the busiest period, they could watch Zhang Sun's games in the fragmented time before going on stage. And, at 8 o'clock in the evening, they had a performance on the Night of the Stars on the Coconut platform. See hot searches. All kinds of high-pitched and dazzling people set up by the company have collapsed completely. Some marketing accounts often have a rhythm, saying that their men's team will break up sooner or later, but only the parties know that their relationship is really good. How about Zhang Sun himself? Fu Ji, the leader of the top men's group T.ATW, pulled Gu Wei and asked. No, how about it? There was a room full of Zhang Sun fan. Gu Wei didn't dare to say too much. It's really good luck. Luo Chenxian, who is in charge of the vocal, said enviously, you can record a variety show and be in the same frame with the great god. Why didn't you ask for an autograph? Variety show director Shi Xin said regretfully, that is the autograph of the world champion. Zhang Sun is really nice. Zhang Sun played really well in that match. Zhang Sun is too good. Gu Wei was innocently irritated by the magic sound, and kept recalling the scene of the day. It hurts. Or, give me a blow. Zhang Sun's voice seemed to be still in his ears. No, the emoji itself is really not very good, and it looks honest without the emoji. Gu Wei ignored the rainbow farts in the living room, clicked on the hot search, swiped the comments of various netizens, and naturally saw the comment sent by Jia Jianjing. My wife really exploded. Under the program group's Weibo, Gu Wei's sunspots have already queued up. How come Gu Wei is still not confused? Low education and rude people can't set up, and now they are starting to gain the popularity of esports. Don't use your entertainment circle to our esports circle, okay? More sunspots brought a rhythm in the comment area. Gu Wei, get out of the entertainment circle. Before the parties spoke, the group jumped first. In Gu Weijia's support club, the anti-criminal station is working hard to criticize and report those unsightly comments one by one. At this moment, the comments exploded again, and Fu Ji, the captain opposite Gu Wei, suddenly looked at him and shook his head meaningfully. Gu Wei. Weibo trending list has changed again. Number Tmukan like number new Gu Wei, TMW Sun, Gu Wei, who has watched the game, knows that this is Zhang Sun's Weibo ID. Then that means the culprit of this incident gave a thumbs up to the trailer for Wandering Together. Does the big hooligan think things are not big enough? On Weibo, the sunspots who just expressed their position on behalf of Zhang Sun and criticized Gu Wei for the popularity of esports, all fell silent. Marketing number. The great of our fans is really nice. The brothers in the group sighed with emotion. Are you okay? Gu Wei really wanted to share with his brothers Zhang Sun's hooligan remarks and the hooligan behavior that made people slam the door that day. Before he had time to speak, the phone vibrated several times, and 3 messages appeared in succession. The first one comes from Gu Weihe's father Gu Cai, good son, what is the name of the engagement partner I mentioned a couple of days ago, did he add you, and how are you talking? The second one came from his primary school student 100,000 volts, how much does it cost per year? 100,000 volts, I will cover you, you will not pick up other guests in the future. The last one comes from the group rapper Chi Yunkai, who was running an announcement recently and had no time to appear. Shout to Yunkai sees mooncakes, brother, the big customer has been cut off, this order has been blown, you don't have to wait. Gu Wei. Gu Wei. Gu Wei. The amount of information was a bit large for a while, so scared that the melon seeds and peanuts in Gu Wei's hands fell to the ground. Look how excited the child is. Luo Chenxian said, leave it, I'll clean it up for you later. Gu Wei stared at the 3 messages on WeChat, hesitated, and chose Qi Yongkai first. If you love me, please give me money. Mooncake, you mean, the primary school students didn't add me? Xiao De Yunkai see Mooncake, yes, probably not. His avatar is a pot of cactus. Xiao De Yunkai see Mooncake, when I think of it, the name is Time Will Never Return. Xiao De Yunkai Ji Un Mooncake, business card love me please give me money colon. Gu Wei, good-natured like Gu Wei, and at this moment, he is not angry at all. Qi Yongkai tube a pot of cactus called a childish avatar? Where did Qi Yongkai hook up with this old cotter-style pupil? The time to return him/mother is gone forever. Click on the circle of friends, and the signature is still the word spilling the Yangtze River to the east. Where did Qi Yongkai find such a vicissitudes of life? It's actually my own rapper that is wild. Gu Wei rubbed his eyes and continued to think. The problem now is that the cactus did not come, but Pikachu came and chatted with him enthusiastically all night. Question: who is Pikachu? Who did he sell the caring service for a night, and also called the baby? He now has a vague premonition. It is necessary for Gu Wei to know who he called the little baby. Gu Wei quit the chat with Qi Yongkai and clicked on his dad's. Love me please give me money, heavyheart.jpg. If you love me please give me money, Dad, send me the WeChat business card of the engagement partner you mentioned so I can take a look. Gu Cai, hey? Gu Cai, let me ask you Ant Song. Gu Cai, business card Gu Wei, on the WeChat business card sent by his father, there is a bright picture of Pikachu with 4 characters next to it, 100,000 volts. Gu Wei feels that he may not be far from dying. If it was said that he was not adding a primary school student, but the engagement partner who jumped out of a crack in the stone, what were they talking about that night? Gu Wei wants to cry but has no tears. Please give me money if you love me, didn't I ask you to refund it? Gu Cai, when did you say that? The drunk can't remember. If you love me, please give me money, forget it, tell me his name. Gu Wei decided to quickly apologize to everyone. Gu Cai, hey, I remember this time. Gu Cai, what's the matter with you? You are on the hot search with others without even knowing their name. I just heard from Ant Song that the 2 of you are on the hot search together. Gu Cai, well, is Jiangxun a nice person? Gu Cai, what about people? Gu Cai, you kid, why have you disappeared while chatting? Gu Wei, what the hell? Jiangxun? It was Jiangxun who he called little baby? The person chatting with him these days is Jiangxun? In other words, he didn't know that the opposite was Jiangxun, but Jiangxun knew that the opposite was him. What is Jiangxun here for? Engaged? Does he really believe in that unreliable co-worker's engagement that he often pulls out? Is the expression pack so simple? Gu Wei, then what are they talking about? How did Jiangxun answer the sales of his inexplicable game booster package? Does this mean Jiangxun is actually very good at talking? Not true. It's not that simple. Gu Wei's eyes stayed on the 2 messages sent by 100,000 volts just now. 100,000 volts, how much does it cost per year? 100,000 volts, I'll take care of you, don't pick up other guests in the future. Gu Wei crushed a pecan with his bare hands under the terrified eyes of his fellow brothers. The more I looked over the chat records, the more I felt that something was wrong. I didn't think at the time, but now it seems that there is a strange atmosphere everywhere in the conversation between the 2 Jiangxun, you know it hurts the body too. Jiangxun, honestly, how long have you been doing this? Jiangxun, how many customers have you received? Jiangxun, they are all beasts. Gu Wei, Gu Wei took a deep breath, bit his head and continued to look up, seeing the message from Jiang Sun at the beginning 100,000 volts, "Are you treating me as a gold master? Love me, please give me money, don't you?" Yes, this is the source of the problem. It's a shame. An inexplicable engagement, an engagement limited to familiar faces. What did he do? He called them little babies, told them to take care of themselves, and said they would be spanked by their father. Chi Yongkai, who was at the fan meeting, received a new message from Gu Wei. "Please give me money, you bastard." Xiao de Yunkai si mooncake, panic.jpg. Wai Wei doesn't look very good. The captain asked with concern, "Is it alright to go on stage at night? I'll be leaving later." Gu Wei, "It's okay. Something happened. It's happening. Jiang Sun thinks he is looking for a gold master? Hai Cao, which was previously boasted for business, was a Tiankang for myself. So when I met in Northern Europe before, Jiang Sun K. The phone vibrated again. Jiang Sun probably did not wait for a reply, and sent a new message. 100,000 volts, that's not good for your health. 100,000 volts, do as I say, don't look for anyone else. Gu Wei, the other three of T.ATW were sitting on the sofa, each holding a handful of melon seeds, watching Gu Wei's face turn red at a speed visible to the naked eye. The reason that he vowed to apologize to Jiang Sun first exploded into a fireworks in his mind. The moment he received the news, Gu Wei felt that there were 100 Jiang Sun in his ears calling him little friend at the same time. He panicked. No, even though he made a mistake first, Jiang Sun's way of thinking is too strange. No normal person would think about this as a caregiver. No matter what, it's Jiang Sun's fault no matter how things develop to this point. Jiang Sun is a big hooligan, and it's Jiang Sun's fault to be a hooligan. Jiang Sun sent a message to Gu Wei with the humanitarian concern of caring for the little fans. He didn't wait for a reply for a long time. Teased. Jiang Sun felt that he was in the right place when it came to protecting fans. It's time for the little fans to change their minds and get on the right track. After waiting for a long time, Jiang Sun finally got the news from Gu Wei. "Please give me money if you love me, brother, don't think too much about QAQ. If you love me, please give me money, I am not a showman." Jiang Sun. Jiang Sun. Jiang Sun. This progress is not right, shouldn't the little fans cry and thank him? Not selling? What did they sell before? The matter has not been explained clearly yet. Gu Wei was fled by Jiang Sun again. "Please call me money, I will explain to you later." Gu Wei decided to send a circle of friends to calm down and complain about what happened to him in the past few days, let the brothers in the group understand the true face of the facial foreskin, sort out the mood, and then go back to Jiang find an explanation. When most people do something wrong, their first reaction is to throw the blame. Gu Wei is an example. Gu Wei took out all the stock in the phone and found Zhang Jiangsun's emoji. With text, "I tell you, this mim is very rogue, his mind is full of yellow waste, and he thinks crooked at every turn. Brothers, don't be deceived by his appearance." This time, Gu Wei was very cautious. He typed about 500 words, and between the lines were all dissatisfaction and accusations against Jiang Sun. After he specifically blocked Jiang Sun, he clicked send. "Are you in a good mood?" In the club where the TMW team is located, someone knocked on the door of the training room. Jiang Sun put down the phone, with an unrecovered smile in his eyes. "Chu Yi, why are you here? I passed by Age City at work, and I came to see you." Chu Yi was wearing a light brown trench coat and leaned against the door. "How have you been lately?" "Very good." Jiang Sun said smoothly, "I just won the World Championship, what's wrong with me?" "My mother contacted you again." Jiang Sun is happy. Chu Yi was Jiang Sun's neighbor when he was a child, and is now an associate professor of applied psychology clinical consultation at a university. As a friend, take care of the mental health of the world champion. Chu Yi avoided his question and urged, "Come on, I still have work in the afternoon." Jiang Xuan listened to his words, picked out one of the cards scattered on the table, and handed it to Chu Yi. "Dr. Chu, do you see anything?" Jiang Xuan asked while leaning on the gaming chair. "Why did you choose it, and what did you see?" Chu Yi asked. "The card is blue-green in color with some intricate color blocks wrapped around it." "Let me speak." Jiang Xuan asked. Chu Yi nodded, "What you see is what you see." Jiang Xuan took back the card and gave Chu Yi an answer according to the pattern he saw. "I saw a whirlpool, and there was a small boat in the whirlpool. I seemed to be on a boat, and here." Jiang Xuan pointed to a white dot in the upper right corner of the card. "This is like a lighthouse." Chu Yi stared at Jiang Xuan for a moment, then suddenly smiled. "Are you planning to retire?" Jiang Xuan sat up straight. "You can. It's not hard to guess." Chu Yi smiled and explained, "You are 23, and you are almost at the age to retire. What you project on this card is yours." "Confused? You have a reputation, and you have no shortage of money. What are you confused about?" "What are you confused about?" Jiang Xuan has some vague awareness about dreams and future plans. "I have this idea," Jiang Xuan admitted, "but this winter's Asian Open will be finished. The team still has a lot of things to deal with, and there are a few good youth trainees that have to be topped. It is estimated that the official retirement will have to wait until next year." "You seem to have found some revelation. It's not a big problem. Your mother is too worried. Solve it yourself." Chu Yi put away the card. "You saw the lighthouse in the whirlpool? Why, did you meet your lighthouse?" Jiang Xuan inexplicably thought of Gu Wei in that short video. "What are you laughing at?" Chu Yi asked. "I really can't hide anything when I talk to you," Jiang Xuan said in disgust. "I recently met a very interesting child." He said this, remembering that he seemed to be chatting with the children just now. Gu Wei said something. "Do you not sell yourself as a performer?" Jiang Xuan wanted to see if Gu Wei had sent him a new message, but he accidentally opened the chat interface and clicked on the circle of friends. What catches the eye is Gu Wei's avatar, which is the Q version of Gu Wei drawn by fans. Q version Gu Wei was chubby, with short legs and short hands. He smiled and rolled his eyes and made a gesture of hugging. When Jiang Xuan saw this head portrait, the corners of his lips curled up. Then his smile froze on his face. Under the Q version avatar, Jiang Xuan saw 8 of himself. "You are thinking about farting.jpg quality 8.jpg my face is crooked.jpg you are ugly, you say it first.jpg there is also a special picture with black characters on a white background. Jiang Xuan, Chu Yi." With the background of these 9 emojis, Gu Wei discussed about 500 words around the theme of Jiang Xuan is a big hooligan, with clear arguments, reasonable arguments, and straightforward. At the end of this discussion, Gu Wei also added a sentence, "It's good for everyone to understand in their hearts, and you can't say it out. You lighthouse, you are so bold." Chu Yi recalled Jiang Xuan, the school leader at the time of his studies, and applauded the child he had never met in his heart, which one on the road. Jiang Xuan looked at the Q version of Gu Wei and his 8 emojis on the phone screen, took a deep breath and said, "Little Gu, it should be itchy skin. Let's go out, the car is downstairs." Chi Yongkai passed from the meeting first. Fu Ji said with his phone. Gu Wei just finished posting on the moments, but he still hasn't recovered from the shock. He nodded a little bit nervously, and followed a few people in the group to the nanny car waiting downstairs. Gu Wei had the intention to let members of the group see his circle of friends, so he took the initiative to bring up the topic of Jiang Xuan. "What kind of person is Jiang Xuan?" he asked. "Interested now?" Captain Fu Ji said with a smile, "When we were chatting just now, I saw that you had been swiping your phone." Gu Wei nodded. "Jiang Xuan is very special," Fu Ji said. "He should have entered the entertainment industry, and a lot of resources were waiting for him, but he didn't go." The entertainment industry. Gu Wei didn't understand. Does he have anything to do with the entertainment industry? You know his younger brother, Zhang Ying's resources are so good, there must be someone behind him. Fu Zhi said, you know Zhang Zheng, actor, we look at his works when he grew up, that was his father, and he controlled more than 10 media and film companies. As long as Zhang Sun and Zhang Ying don't make big mistakes in principle, they will always be smooth sailing in the entertainment industry. So that day, when Zhang Sun came out to like it, those marketing accounts that smeared you disappeared. Gu Wei, this is an emoji that cannot be offended. Look at this. Luo Chenxian handed over the phone, Zhang Sun's works when he was a child. Gu Wei leaned over and saw the video that Luo Chenxian clicked for him. This is a clip from a TV series. The little emoji was only about 11 or 12 years old at the time and played a little emperor. Wearing a tailor-made royal suit, sitting on the dragon chair, facing the person who was kneeling on the ground, his expression was indifferent, and he overturned the table full of books. Fu Zhi, look at the acting. Luo Chenxian, look at this look. Shi Xinyan, look at this beauty. Gu Wei, although I don't want to admit it, Xiao Jiangxun's acting skills are indeed much better than his third-tier traffic. Look at his face, it's not from ordinary people. Luo Chenxian said, it can be regarded as a professional background, and he participated in many works when he was a child, but he was rebellious in adolescence. At that time, people went to play games. Then, won't his family object? Gu Wei asked. No. Fu Zhi said, of course against, such a good seedling is dedicated to sports, so many people have crossed the single plank bridge, and how many people have reached retirement without a name, listen. He said that his mother was okay, but his father, the actor Zhang Zheng, had a violent temper, but he objected. At that time, there were many media reports about this incident, saying that the actor raised a son who was not good enough, but after a few years passed, Zhang Sun gradually achieved results, and these voices disappeared. Luo Chenxian also agreed, at the beginning, many people said that Zhang Sun was not sober, but in fact Zhang Sun knew best what he wanted. Gu Wei understands, this is still a stubborn emoji with a story. And a few years ago, when sports had not yet entered the public eye, it was indeed considered by many people to be unprofessional, not to mention that there was a wide avenue in front of Zhang Sun, but he was not to go to the wilderness. Zhang Sun must have put in effort that others don't know to be able to achieve today's achievements. Gu Wei suddenly felt that Zhang Sun was also good. It was a misunderstanding before, just explain it clearly on WeChat, why do you accuse others in the circle of friends? Gu Wei felt a little guilty. He took out his mobile phone and decided to delete the accusation Julian just now. The screen of the mobile phone hadn't been turned on yet, and Fu Zhi, who was next to him, handed over the mobile phone. Qi Yun is absent from work to play the dog, there are a lot of huskies, let's go together someday. Qi Yunkai took a selfie among a group of huskies, and sent a circle of friends along the way. The time for the hair tie is 12:59. Gu Wei took the captain's cell phone, swiped up, then swiped down, but he didn't see the one he sent. The time he sent the ring was 13:30. If no one else posted anything during this time, his one should be in front of Qi Yungkai's group of dogs. But on Fu Zhi's phone, the latest news is only that row of dogs. His expression pack square did not appear. Gu Wei, you deleted my friend. Fu Zhi? No. Gu Wei's hands trembled, turned over the phone, opened WeChat, opened the circle of friends, and at a glance, he saw the news he just posted not long ago. No problem. Sent. What did you send? Shi Xinyan asked, I didn't receive it either. Gu Wei suddenly had a bad feeling. Under this premonition, he bit his head and clicked on the two side-by-side little people icons under the dynamic picture in the friends list visible in this photo. There is a familiar Pikachu avatar. There is no one else. Gu Wei. He seems to be doing something bad again. Gu Wei originally wanted to block Zhang Sun, but he was a little flustered at the time, and finally set this article so that only Zhang Sun could see it. Gu Wei was in a hurry, and quickly clicked delete. Watching the 9 emojis disappear from his sight, Gu Wei breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was deleted quickly, the emoji itself should not have seen it. Who can bear this? At this moment, his phone vibrated suddenly, and a new message popped up at the top of the screen. 100,000 volts, screenshot evidence. Gu Wei, not good. He held the last glimmer of hope, covered his eyes with his right hand, and watched the message Zhang Xuan was sending through his fingers. 100,000 volts, Gu Zio Bao, is it itchy? 100,000 volts, I can't wait to educate you.